Need to put this into history, okay? Because black people, we invented everything, okay? So we need a whole lifetime.
Did they invent this?
Yes, we have.
What about glasses?
Yes, everything.
Hat?
Everything.
Do you think white people invented something?
Yeah, they invented a lot, but we are the originators.
As a white dude, I think sometimes just whatever your opinion is on race just sort of becomes offensive because you're a white dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Why do you think that is though? Why are you shut out of the conversation?
I think that we're in like a sort of like a weird. We're in a weird place as a country, like with racial stuff. I don't have the answers for. I don't necessarily have all the answers for that or the reasons why, but I think we're like sort of culturally, we're just we're all. It's not even just races. It's gender and it's like all this other stuff.
Very divisive.
We're in a weird place culturally, I think.
White people gonna get mad at you for saying that.
Mad all they want. They've been getting mad since I've been bringing them on my block, Martin Luther King Boulevard. I've been bringing white girls on my block since 1989, 1990.
Do black people need a month?
Sure, why not?
Nah, I don't know. Why we need a month? I feel like black people already got the thing we were looking for, which was freedom. I mean, I really think Black History Month is the reason why we're still oppressed today, because I feel like it's keeping us separate from the rest of the group. That's my personal opinion.
We need a History Month for every group.
So, are we gonna have one for white people soon?
Well, that's a good question. Because it's pretty much, we have white history.
Can white people say the N-word?
No, I would never say, I don't say it. I've never said, I'm not saying I never said it. I've said it around people.
Said it sometimes?
Yeah, but not in anger,
Your black friends was cool with it.
Well, I never even say it around going, hey, I never say like my nigga.
Hell no. Why not? Because they ain't earned their stripes.
What's the difference between?
Can white people say the N-word?
Yeah.
Oh, the N-word?
Can they say?
Some people have said it, but I don't understand why it's made a big deal out of that. Is it because there is no education about it?
I guess people say it was used during slavery times.
Oh, okay. So there's something about the word itself, and there's something about the intention of the word. So I think like it's not the word itself that makes it the difference, but I think there's like if there's an intention to, hate somebody, of course, the other person is not gonna like it, right?
We reclaimed it.
In what way?
We made it like to be empowering and all of that stuff.
Because I think that word came from something being rude to like that. It came from a mean place. So like, why bringing it back now?
Do you say it?
Yes. But I feel
How
like
come?
we shouldn't. I feel like people shouldn't say it. I feel like nobody should say the N-word, to be honest.
Why are you saying Jesus? You scared?
I don't know what you're gonna say.
If you get punched in the face, the next time you say the next person, then that's on you.
What's the difference between a black person saying it and a white person saying it?
I would my opinion on that would be there is no difference, but I understand why some people would say that it's okay for black people to say it and it's not okay for white people to say it. And it's just like when white people say it, sometimes it's like, you're like, oh, there's a white guy that said that, like that should be going on. You know, it's just like a natural thing. Like even if the rules were different, I'm like, oh, there's a white guy that said that. Let me move real quick. You know what I mean?
Do you think ideally it should just be no one should say it if the word is so hostile?
Ideally, but we don't live in an ideal world, so I don't know how far away we are from that.
Like it doesn't matter who's saying,
and that intentions can change. And how do you even know about the intentions?
What matters the malice behind it, or like the intent?
Exactly.
Okay. Do you think we should have so much emphasis on one word in a sense, like have it
that I'm curious to know why it happened that way. Like why did it turn out that way?
Okay.
Like say about the first ever N-word that was spoken, whether it be black or white, because at that point in time there was no. I don't think there was even a discussion about black and white. It was just a word when it first began. But that kicked off something, I guess. And maybe people like it or people dislike it. It room to be.
How much of that is like power, and how much of that is perceived power? Because what's empowering about calling another? If it's so empowering about calling another black person the N-word, why do you get so offended? Why would people get so offended if it's a white person?
Well, like, I feel like because we reclaimed it as a term of like endearment towards our other like counterparts, I feel like that's what makes it empowering. But
So you get like empowered when someone calls you the N word?
if I'm talking to like my black friends
Yeah.
and we say that, yeah.
What if she called you the N word? Would you get like empowered by it?
No, I wouldn't. And she knows that she shouldn't because she's not black.
What about if a white person called you N word? Do you feel empowered?
No, it's not. It's not just a word. It does carry meaning behind it, but I feel like it has a heavier connotation behind it. When if a white person or a non-black person were to say it, than if a black person were to say it to another black person.
Do you feel just as empowered when a like girl calls you a B word? From that, you know how
those two words are not the same.
I know, but like it's like an example, like when a guy calls a girl the B word, right?
But I feel like as women, and I also noticed, well, as women,
is that empowering?
I mean, it depends on the context.
Do you get empowered when your girlfriend calls you the B? Like, yes, babe.
Yeah, but she doesn't. She doesn't say that.
What about your other girlfriends?
My friends.
Yeah, like your other girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You do. What if one of your friends who was a boy called you it?
I mean, as a fellow gay, yeah.
Should we even use words
it's like should we be using the words? In my opinion, no, because it's like it's used as a way to just kind of hurt people directly. I mean, there's personally, in my opinion, like words such as like sure or whatever, and it's like that's like in specific of whoever you are, essentially.
Yeah,
but
because at the end of the day, it depends who says it for you to be offended, right?
Exactly, it's true.
Do Black Lives Matter?
Absolutely.
White Lives Matter?
Absolutely.
All lives matter.
Absolutely. but yeah, I mean,
you're gonna get people mad by that.
Nah, that's gonna. I mean, I ain't saying I'm sticking with the phrase, dog. But like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, all lives matter. this dude's about to get me a heat, bro. Nah.
I think Black Lives Matter.
What about white lives?
I mean, white lives matter too, but that's like people always talk about that, so that's not really something that needs to be said as much. Like, it shouldn't have to be said that Black Lives Matter, but unfortunately, it has to be said.
Every life matters in the context that everyone's a human being, and that me and you are no different from like those white dudes.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like, everyone's their own person. Everyone got a life. Everyone got a mother and father at home. Like, people got kids to attend to. Like,
I agree with you, kid. Do we need a month?
Yes, of course.
What?
All of the, things that we experience, the negative, things that we experience, internationally with slavery happening, all across the globe.
You experienced slavery?
My family did.
Oh, your family did?
Yeah.
How does slavery affect you today?
Systemically,
Like in what, ways, though?
Pertaining to systemic racism, just, African American people.
Oh man,
do they need a month?
I don't think they do.
Okay,
Black history is American history. That's what I think.
Why do you think people tend to say that white we get taught white history throughout all the other months? Why do you think people tend to say that?
I think that's sort of an easy way to sort of end a conversation. So that's an easy way to kind of maybe shut somebody up, I think. And I think that maybe some people kind of don't like that, the United States is sort of a majority white country, maybe?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Why? Explain.
I'm trying to think of something straight off of the top of my head. It's because until we can have, equity for all people, then we deserve to recognize people of color. Because everything has been about white people for far too long, and they've taken the credit of things that people of color have helped to cultivate.
And so you think that black people aren't equal? Explain. You said that until we don't have equity, in what ways do they not have equity?
I think that black people deserve reparations for damages from slavery for several hundreds of years.
Every black person?
Sure. I mean, I don't know I can't pretend to know the intricacies of everything because I'm a white person and the struggles of black people are not struggles that I will ever have to encounter. So I'm trying to be as conscious as possible.
What struggles do you think that you face, I guess, other than like what is different about the struggles that you face?
As a white person, I have inherent privilege.
What does this like look like? Goodness, I can't speak English.
Oh gosh, I know that people won't see my skin tone as part of who I am. I know that I face other struggles as a woman and as a queer person, but
you don't think so? You don't think people like look like, oh, that's like a white girl, like from first impression? You don't think people look at that? And,
oh,
like,
I mean, I know that people can look at me and know that I'm
Yeah.
a white person, but I don't think that. I mean, I grew up in a privileged area, and I continue to live in a privileged area, and I think just kind of inherently, I think as far as I've been
Sorry, scoot a little
educated,
more. Yeah, go
as
ahead.
far as I've been educated on, I think that a lot of people of color have a lot of generational trauma. We can't forget the struggles and the terrible, awful things that have happened to Black people in this country, and that's something that I will never fully understand because it's not something that I've ever had to go through.
Is that like you said you grew up in a privileged area? What does that have to do with racism though?
I think so, absolutely. My town, I'm from Connecticut, and a lot of people, especially in the past couple of years, have really asked, like, so I mean, I'm from New England, right? And I would consider that New England is a pretty progressive place, but I think the racism is a lot more covert because my town is very progressive, but it's also very white. Why is that? Why isn't there a large community of color in my community?
They don't got the money. Do we need a month?
We need every month.
Oh, okay, like February, March,
April, May.
Wow, and do what in those months?
Well, I mean, it should just be.
Creo que no creo que las personas de color, ni las blancas, ni las negras, deban de tener un día en especial. Todos somos iguales, por lo tanto, todos los días son para todas las personas.
She says that every single day throughout the year is for all persons, whether black, white, Asian, or whatever. So she disagrees with Black History Month, and she doesn't think there should be a month.
My family had to fight for themselves financially through all the shit that went down in Detroit. My dad was selling drugs.
How much of that is like on the individual though? Like most families are trying to do something financially, and like if someone's involved in criminal actions, they're gonna go.
No, yeah, I definitely agree that you have to figure out things individually. It's still like a
Does that have to do with white people
thing.
though? What your family went through?
Well, my family never had access to the same jobs and the same wealth as white people.
But there's a lot of white people who aren't wealthy. What about those people?
True. I mean, it is an individual thing, but there's so many historical things that happen that have set back Black people that still exist to this day.
What sets you back?
I think financial things. My family doesn't have generational wealth.
Do you think most white families have generational wealth?
I can't assume that.
Do Black people need a month?
Yeah.
For what? Is there an Asian History Month? Sorry, I just had that. There is? Which month?
In May.
What you do to celebrate Asian History Month?
Well, I honestly don't do
Nothing?
anything because I
don't
celebrate.
do nothing either.
I celebrate this month for my New Year.
Oh, I celebrate that too.
You celebrate Lunar New Year?
Just went out to like a Chinese restaurant, something like that.
Okay.
And so, do you do anything for Black History Month?
No.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Okay, why do they need a month though? Can you explain why they need a month?
Well, just to celebrate who they are, and like a lot of people have a problem with that, and I don't really know why, because it's really not hurting anybody. They're just celebrating who they are.
How much of that month do you think is like virtue signaling rather than actually doing something?
I don't know.
Do Black people need a month?
At least a month.
Why? Why do you think so?
No, because it's underappreciated in my opinion, especially for this country and all the work that Black people have done for America.
In that case, should white people have a month as well?
No.
Why not?
Because we're privileged.
They're celebrated every day.
What about a British History Month over in America?
No.
Why not?
again, they're celebrated every day.
How do you celebrate them every day?
Living in the world that they created.
Explain that.
Well, I am a person of color. I am Vietnamese. And
What color? Sorry.
I'm Vietnamese. You know, as a POC, you have to live in a world where whites basically they created everything. You know what I mean? Not create everything, but they hold the standard.
Mm. So you hold white people to the standard in your mind?
No.
What age is the individual responsible of creating their own idea of beauty or standard of whatever they want to achieve?
That's up to when they're up to it.
If you're giving one set of people, is everyone going to get a month then who comes to America, I guess? Like, where do you, like, draw the line? Why isn't there, I guess, like, some sort of collective identity with it?
I agree with that. Because there shouldn't be everybody getting a month or everybody taking turns.
Because no one ever really cares about the month.
Because if everyone's made equal in this country, then there shouldn't be labels. There shouldn't be terms.
There's certain privileges that like people of other races, specifically white people, are often granted. Like black people aren't granted it because I don't want to sound.
What privileges?
I mean, like privileges on the basis of like education, like college.
You want to go to school?
Oh, I do. Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
So you get that privilege. So how come you have the formula, but like other people, I guess, can't?
Like what formula do you?
You said like, well, you're not granted the right of like education and stuff, but you're able to go to college and stuff.
Yeah.
So, like,
but
why would that be something of like a complaint? Because you're still able to have that privilege just as everyone else. What do you think about a black national anthem?
I feel like it's necessary. I've never
think
heard
so?
it. Yeah.
How much of that is like divisive and how much of that is like empowering if you're saying that quote unquote essentially that the national anthem doesn't fit for black people?
When it was made, it was not representative of black people living in this country.
I don't think that the national anthem is necessarily the white national anthem, and I think that whatever the national anthem is, we should only have one, because the national anthem should be sort of a uniting thing that is part of the heritage of the entire country for everybody, for all Americans, not black Americans or white Americans or whatever, however else you want to classify Americans, but Americans.
Doesn't that encompass all people, the American national anthem?
No.
It doesn't?
No.
It doesn't encompass you?
No.
Why not?
Because the national anthem is about, like, you know, unity.
Yeah, like it was talking about the war. Oh, say, can
Yeah.
you see by the dawn's early
You have a great
light?
voice.
Yeah, thank you. So, do you stand for the national anthem?
No, I do not.
Why not?
It's just not something I do.
Would you stand for the black national anthem?
If there was one,
There is one.
there is.
Yes. Would you stand for it?
Sure.
Why? Why would you stand for that one and not the American?
Because the American one is not for me.
Do you consider yourself an American?
I mean, I was born here.
So why wouldn't you stand for it?
Not living it.
Would you want to? Do you not want to live in America?
Not really, no.
Where do you want to go?
Not here.
Why do we need to cater to another type of thing if we're all American?
We shouldn't have to.
So no black national anthem.
I mean, wait.
Would you stand for the black national anthem?
I mean, yeah, I would.
You would?
Yeah.
Would you stand for the national anthem? I want white people to have guilt for what happened back in the past.
Well, just acknowledge it and understand that they're technically benefiting from everything that like happened from the past. That's like pretty much prevalent within our day-to-day lives.
So last thing, acknowledging it is one thing, but should they feel bad about it? Can you acknowledge something and not feel bad about it?
Yeah,
it's not you.
Yeah, well,
because that's like if like your father killed someone, like say some crazy happened in your family, and someone wants you to feel bad about it. The family affected wants you to feel bad about it. Got you thinking. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can still do something about it without feeling bad. But when you feel bad, you feel sorry for us.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm saying. That's what this conversation is teaching me, is maybe I don't have to feel guilty about, kind of the bad things that have come before me.
It's unfortunate that we have to like compete with our white counterparts, but to like pretty much.
But everything's pretty much a competition.
It is a competition, but to prove them wrong and to like pretty much like shy away from those like expectations and perceptions of you.
Do you think most white people are going around thinking that you're less than, though?
Yeah.
You really think that?
Yes.
You think that most white people are going around thinking that black people are... Wow.
Yes.
Since when?
Since the dawn of time, since the beginning.
I don't think that people of color just naturally commit more crime.
Statistics might say otherwise.
Because
I would
I'm
only
not
stand
black.
for the national anthem, though.
I'd stand for the national anthem too.
What about the black one?
Me?
Yeah. You still deciding whether to stand about that?
Well, if I stand, I feel like a lot of people will be angry at me.
This country was built off of the backs of black people, and it was taken and stripped from other marginalized groups of people. And in a sense, white people are benefiting from that.
But it was also built off the backs of Asian people in California, as well as Native Americans and white people.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing about like my mission. It's like connecting the divide, because there's just such a big divide, and people aren't able to have conversations who have differing opinions. You feel me? If people were able to sit on the other side of someone else who has a different opinion than them, you might gain some sort of understanding. You don't need to agree, but we would be at a way better spot with one another.
Right.